Welcome everybody to the Red Card Podcast, back for match week 13. We missed a week there, and I'm gonna chalk it off to Surya being too embarrassed to talk about the 4-0 drubbing at Anfield, Liverpool against Arsenal. But Surya, how have you been? How have things been in the last couple of weeks for you?
Things have been like honestly, like after that 4-0 game, I thought I wasn't actually too sad, and I'll tell you why. Because the first half, I think we at least defended well enough and kind of held our own. Second half, it came down to first, Nuno Tavares passed the ball straight to I think it was Diogo's shot. Of course, he's gonna score, and I think at that point we were already 1-0 down. I think at that 2-0 point, the whole team energy dropped, and I think it just came down to our players trying to play out from the back too much, and just individual errors right there. And so like I'm not that sad. I like it's come on, it's Liverpool at home, and we're only Arsenal at this point, so let's not be too sad. I think I was okay after that game. Everyone else was like, "Oh, this is exactly why I think Arteta is not the man to lead
The
Arsenal." I'm
Arteta
like,
out
"Oh my
brigade
god,
back
like,
after one
oh my
defeat.
god, bro! You won all these games. We're in fifth place, tied for fourth, and all of a sudden, no, Arteta is not the man to lead
Yeah,
after your
yeah,
annual sort of 4-0 Liverpool
yeah.
rinsing. Like it happens every year. Get used to it. Like it's
Every year, and look, there's it, it, obviously the complaints there is that the Arsenal aren't at the level, and they want to see Arsenal hit to that level, and you can just when you take a drubbing like that, you just feel the cavernous gap between where Arsenal are today and where City, Chelsea, and Liverpool are right now. But that was a good one. I think that I did want to mention the little row between Klopp and Arteta. I thought that was a cool little. I guess it's one of
that
those.
was wild, dude.
Yeah, I mean, one of those like emotional things, one of those like intangible, energetic things that happens in football, that just really like everybody was talking about it, but it's. I think they talked about it because the people who were in the ground felt it,
Yeah.
where just the whole energy of the whole ground swells up, and then again it gets the players, it gets the fans, it gets the manager, the whole thing, and obviously the tide turns once the first goes in, it piles on. But I thought that was pretty cool, and obviously, yeah, go
Remember
ahead.
the
Yeah.
Jamie Carragher commentary in the game, like watching the replay of the fight. He's like, hold me back." Like it's like
Yes.
Arteta had like massive hold me back energy.
Yeah, fantastic. Another quick one for our quick fire here for match week 12. Watford obviously get the 4-1, and we didn't get to talk about Ole's sacking, so that was an interesting little match there. I think shout out to was it Ben Foster? Did he save a pen, or I forget exactly, but it was a 4-1 drubbing there.
Unreal,
And
dude.
Ole's
And
gone.
Watford sucked too.
Ole, Ole's gone. But yeah, in any case, that was an interesting little thing. Also, I did want to give us, and while we're on this quick fire of match week 12, earlier this week, Champions League, just wanted to give a mention. All the English clubs reigning supreme. I believe every single one, United, Chelsea, City, and Liverpool,
Mhm.
all getting wins. I don't know what you think, but to me, I think just like what a lot of the English pundits are saying, an English club is going to win the Champions League. Obviously, I want it to be Liverpool.
I'm just so sad that I really wanted PSG to beat Man
Mm.
City. I don't know, man. I think Neymar works so hard and sort of carries his team every year. I feel I feel for him, and now with the injury, even more so. Like I just feel like he's so unlucky. Like he's an amazing player. He works so hard every single game, and then he's just
I mean,
plagued
he
by
missed. I
injuries.
remember he
He's
missed a
plagued
couple of
by
gilt-edged
side
chances.
players. What?
So he missed a good chance. I remember Neymar himself. I mean, there was, to be honest, I don't know how I feel about PSG's energy, how they work as a team. Some of the commentary was speaking about having maybe not three passengers, but three luxury players, and I really see that. Like where
Mhm.
the discussions around having Ronaldo in there as kind of a luxury player and how much he presses or doesn't press, and then you have three of them, and you say they're all working hard, but like how much are they really as a unit, moving like the elite clubs that we're seeing, right? It really
Yeah,
feels like individual performers.
I mean, with Messi, I agree. I mean, like he just sort of walks around, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
for
like he's
sure.
always had that in his career. Right? Like he's that's just how he plays. But for Neymar, at least, like I saw him a lot of times running down the ball, trying to challenge, trying to
Mm,
block, passes, and like I really see that in him that he really wants more than anything else to win the Champions League,
yeah,
and right, and he's working hard for it, and so when you see that level of effort, that earnest hard work in game and like on the training field, it's sad to see him being sort of let down, and then another injury seems like he'll be out for the whole season, and that's
really.
already sort of
Holtz, I didn't even
yeah.
see that. What happened to him?
That's what I recall hearing. Yeah,
Really? Wow, that would be unfortunate.
that would be really that would really I think
Wow.
I really hope it's untrue. I really hope it's not the whole season, but
Mm,
I don't know.
wow. In any case, I unfortunately, I think they'll still end the, leave the group and they'll make the knockouts. But
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
I think it's going to be tough to beat the English clubs this season. But let's get into the fixtures from yesterday and today. Let's start with our great clubs, Liverpool and Arsenal. A couple of routine wins. Let's start with Arsenal, 2-0 to Newcastle, the first game of the match week. How did you feel at the Emirates? Newcastle obviously rock bottom. They cannot find a win to
Yeah.
save their lives. But my God, what a couple of great finishes. Martinelli, we'll talk about him later. But how do you feel, Surya?
So I think first half the game was a lot slower than Arsenal's. Really, the level Arsenal's at. I think they could have played the game at a higher speed, and
Mm,
second half they did. Um, One thing I will say is, so in the past, I have said that Nuno Tavares, he runs a lot. He
mm,
loves to go attack. Although his last ball is sometimes lacking. His decision making sometimes is not correct because he, tries to over dribble, shoot the ball instead of passing, where that would be the better option. I think this game, he played extremely well. Like he was dominating that left hand side. Now, of course, I will say, like it is Newcastle, right? It's not Liverpool or something, but still, like I was happy to see him, trying to dribble less and crossing the ball more and actually like into the box and not sort of into the stands. Second point, Sambi Lokonga as well was dominating the midfield that game. Like
mm,
in the game against Liverpool, he had a hard time, right? Like because
mm,
he often also tried to over dribble the ball and got sort of got
mm.
and lost the ball extremely often to their press. In this game, like I think he played really well. Again, I don't want to get ahead of myself. It is just Newcastle and they're going down, right? So
Yeah, they're rubbish.
I can't say that, it was an amazing performance, but I can say that the two goals were fantastic.
They were fantastic. I have to first of all agree with about your comments about Tavash. Tavash was fantastic. I mean, he was in the midfield. He was all over the place. He was
Yeah.
connecting the play. I mean, he had all this energy. He was really just controlling the tempo, and you could see. It's interesting. I mean, he's not quite like the Chilwells, Reece
Yeah.
James, Robertson, Arnold's, but it's a different kind of bringing the person in the left back position into this kind of creative role, using more of
Yeah.
these defensive line players. I was really impressed by that, and yeah, absolutely the finishes. That's where we can give us a little
And I will
mention
say,
here.
like, the very fact that both Lakanga and Tavares cost a combined 26 million pounds only over the summer, and Sambi was captain of Anderlecht at the age of 22. So I think like Edu this summer, like everyone was saying, okay, we're almost close to sort of what we need, and I think that holds true after we've seen how the new signings performed. I think
Mm,
masterclass by Edu on scouting, and
yeah,
I can't not talk about Dick Garlic as well. He's the director of football, I think, at
Mm.
Arsenal, and him and Edu really have been on top of it.
Yeah, and well, a couple of players, I don't think they're new signings, but a couple of players, young players who've been given a chance getting the
Yeah,
finishes. One of them I'm showing on the screen here, Gabrielle Martinelli.
yeah, that goal was unbelievable.
I wanted to start with that. What a finish, man.
It's exactly the kind of goal like he would score. Like all his past goals, he comes on, he scores like really hard goals.
A
I mean,
Brazilian's finish.
they aren't like too frequent his goals, but when he scores, like they're always really hard goals, and so you can see, like there is sort of a very sort of very intense latent like talent there, and just over
Absolutely.
time, hopefully it continues to improve.
Absolutely. I mean, I just like the technique. I mean, the chip over the top. I forget exactly who actually played in the past.
Tomiyasu,
Tomiyasu.
the right
Wow.
back. Yeah.
Fantastic chip. But he just has to track it. It comes over the shoulder, and he knows also he has to take a glance to see the keeper coming off his line.
Unreal.
And then he just passes it into the I mean, it was just an exquisite finish. And what a way to just cap it off. So unfortunate that he has to get on the pitch to replace Saka. Let's see if I can find the picture here.
Yeah.
What a talent this guy is. I don't know how long he's gonna be out. It looked like he was injured, but he had the first finish. Another good
Yeah.
play in behind, and he kind of. I think it was his. I don't know if he's a right footer, but his
He's a
left foot.
lefty. Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
lefty.
left foot finish across the keeper, fantastic. But what a performance from this academy product
And
here.
then afterward, Ozil's celebration with the M and the
Oh wow,
bro.
yeah.
This yeah. So like he was saying like in an interview, he's like an Alexis Sanchez fanboy. I think he really liked Ozil and Sanchez, and so he's yeah.
That's the most fascinating thing. We're getting older. We're almost from the time where we're young adults.
Yeah.
Supporting the clubs. You can start to see the players who are our age and just younger who are growing up just like us watching
Yeah.
those old teams. And so yeah, you can start to see this kind of the remnants, like they're fans
Yeah.
just like us of those old eras where Arsenal would spank us up when it would come to the Emirates. that was those.
Those were the days,
Oh
dude.
my God! Top four was a given under Wenger every single season. That was incredible.
I don't know if you recall that one Liverpool game at the Emirates Stadium where it ended like 3-3. So it was 3-0, and then in the span of like 10 minutes, Arsenal scored 3 goals real fast. Xhaka with the long shot,
Oh, I remember that.
Mignolet save, completely fucked it up. I don't know what he was
I
doing.
remember that. I 100%
But
remember
dude,
that.
I remember watching that game. I was on that last goal, that Ozil goal, that beautiful, like he kicks into the ground, bounce it. Dude, I was over the moon during the game, watching that game. I was
Oh,
crazy. It was such an incredible moment.
that was at the tail end. That wasn't
Yeah,
actually at the peak of like
yeah,
I guess it was still you were still a top four club. It's hard to imagine that
yeah.
it was just like a given that the Arsenal were in the Champions League every season and
I
now.
think it was. I think it was probably Jurgen Klopp's either first or second year in charge. Yeah.
Oh, so maybe this is where we'll end on Arsenal. Top four. What do you think, sir? Is it on?
Top four. I don't actually anymore because it's.
Wow.
I think West Ham seemed too hard to beat. You know what I mean at this
And
point.
AFCON. I think everybody's forgetting. Like, I think Arsenal is the worst hit squad from AFCON. It's like
Yeah.
it's half of the, maybe not the full squad, but at least
Yeah.
some mainstay players. And for that month where you're gonna have to pick up points, it's
Yeah.
gonna be tough. Liverpool will have that issue
We're
too.
gonna lose Thomas Party and Aubameyang,
Mm,
and those two are key players in our squad. So
yeah. Well, we're gonna lose, I believe, Salah and Mane, so that'll be difficult.
that's good.
Uh, well, we can transition to my club.
Oh, what
Yeah,
about where's Naby Keita from? Is he also gone for AFCON?
he's gonna be gone. Yeah, he's gonna be gone.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting. He's we haven't really expected him to be in the side too often. So it's like he's not gonna feel like a loss. I think for me at least as a fan.
Yeah,
But now we can transition. Keita wasn't on the pitch, but Liverpool against Southampton at Anfield. This is the point of the fixture list where it's just teams you need to beat for Liverpool.
Yeah,
And this is what they did. Four good goals. Another, I guess 2 minutes in, Jota coming in with a poacher's finish gets things going. And when that kind of goal goes in, I think in one of the last episodes I talked about it. When you're scoring in the first 5 minutes, that can go either way. Either you
yeah,
can go and you turn it into 4, 5, 6, or you get complacent. You get the first or second, and you can kind of like let the other team back in, which
yeah.
is, my one of my only matches going to Anfield was a West Ham match where exactly that happened. Lallana scores in the second minute. But in
Hmm.
this case, Liverpool is just too good to be, man. They're relentless. I mean, you look at the chance after chance after chance. Jota again with the poacher's finish with the second chance. Salah coming in, giving him a golden
Hmm.
platter finish for the second. He can't quite get the hat trick. I was really disappointed for him. But yeah, I mean, Liverpool
Like,
4-0.
I think it seems that Liverpool are finally sort of back at their best. I think so far this whole season they've been slightly off the mark, right? Like they win games, but like it hasn't been like extremely convincing wins. Like 4-0s up until now, and I think now really their game is at the top again. You know what I mean? Like they're actually firing now on all cylinders, and they have a system now that works.
Absolutely. I really I appreciate your comment there because the way I described the performance was vintage. Vintage Liverpool.
Vintage Liverpool.
Just like a vintage. I mean, Andy Robertson getting in behind even for that first assist for Jota in the second minute was just a vintage Andy Robertson. And I guess Thiago coming in is new, not quite vintage, but getting goals from midfield. In that vintage you would get Fabinho coming in or Oxlade coming in and getting those finishes. So there's great finish from Thiago, although he gets a deflection. Another second goal for him. Actually, I think he scored against Porto with a fantastic goal. I don't know, was that the beautiful? I don't know if you saw the angles from there. The beautiful Thiago goal in midweek.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't know. When I think of what vintage Liverpool means, like if it was vintage Liverpool, I think that game would have ended probably 4-4. You know what I mean? I,
Andre Arshavin four goals.
that's
that's
that to me is what
that's what your
vintage
vintage.
Liverpool means. They dominate, and then the last
That's
like
right.
20 minutes
That's right.
they concede all the goals, and then they draw the game.
Yeah. Well, my last note on this match is just the clean sheet. I mean, first of all, Virgil also given quick mention for him getting a finish up from the corner. Nice little
That was a
finish.
hard finish too. That was pretty well taken. Like that was a great volley.
Virgil for a center back, he really can make good contact on the ball. He knows how to find the target. So yeah, really, really proud of that finish there. It's always, if you're trying to challenge for a title, you need goals from every part of the pitch, and that's definitely important. And I just want to say Konate. Konate, I think, was the weakest player on the pitch for me. Very shaky sometimes. I don't know if he's really up to the pace of the Prem. Obviously,
Mhm.
it's 4-0, so you forgive him. But he forced Ali into a position where he had to earn his
Yeah.
clean sheet, right? A couple of shaky moments. I mean, there was one chance, I think it was Armstrong got in behind because, Konate didn't really judge the challenge well.
Mhm.
And then Ali's forced to make a save. Another kind of chance where he wasn't able to challenge in the near post. But that's one of the best keepers in the world, and he keeps his clean sheet. So I guess as a fan, I was looking for us to stop conceding goals. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that as well. Like if it would have taken the shine off it a little bit, if it was like 4-1 or something like that, but it would not too terrible, I would say.
And the Andy Robertson comeback,
Andy
he played
Robertson
really
comeback
well.
as well, and I have to say that it's a good position to be in when you have, and as fair enough, Arsenal are in this exact position with Tavares and Tierney, where you have
Yeah.
two good options in that position, where it's like I don't really, you don't feel the drop off between
Yeah. Yeah.
one or
Yeah.
the other, but yeah, absolutely. Also, I mean, Robertson's form has not been great all season at all, so I think having Tsimikas there, putting
Yeah.
the pressure and putting a performance that the fans say, oh, it's good enough, that I'll have him
Mhm.
again. That puts the pressure on him to put in the performance like he put in
Yeah.
yesterday, you know,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. All right, well, let's transition over to Manchester United, our favorite club. Yeah, I don't know. We probably have a few friends that stick up our ass, United fans.
I'll be
uh,
honest. I think United is slowly becoming my favorite club, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, really? Tell me.
And you know, like, what are you really in soccer for, right? To be entertained, right? You know, I used to say, you know, even though in RC Rangers last year the club sucked, but they were entertaining, right? Like out of nowhere, you'd see games with insane comebacks. You know, like second half fight back to win the game. You know, that season opener versus Leicester that finished 4-3, right? You'd get entertaining games like that, and
Wow. Looks like I lost Surya. There he is
God, yeah.
again. There he is again.
You know, I don't know, man. My app just crashes. But anyway, computers, how do they work, right? No, but the reason I like United is because they're pure entertainment, right? Like there isn't a single game that's dull, right? There isn't a single game after which I'm like, oh, I don't have to watch the post match. Like I know in the post match,
100%.
Keane, Jamie Carragher, and Gary Neville are gonna go off. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
and Roy Keane, that was the real debate this time. I don't know if you
Roy,
saw the clips. Hilarious
Roy Keane
television.
and Jamie Carragher were really at it talking about
They
Ronaldo.
were at it. And you know, it's interesting that you say that because, this was a United Chelsea game, and I didn't even lead it with Chelsea because it's just all about United and it's this shambolic, weird
Yeah,
transition that we're watching. I mean, it is Carrick's last match as interim, so that was an
yeah.
interesting thing to.
Inter.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting to see like what last throw of the dice he would throw, and I guess he did
Yeah.
drop Ronaldo, so that was one of the things that he changed
Hmm.
up at least. I guess you're seeing, maybe a glimpse of him saying, "Oh, I mean, it seemed obvious to me. Soak up the pressure of this,
Yeah.
champions of Europe, top of the league, Chelsea, and then hit them on the break. Bring Ronaldo on,
Hmm.
with 20, 25 minutes to go, and have him run ragged and try to nick one. And it almost worked. I mean, it was interesting. Jorginho, shambolic mistake, and I guess it was interesting. That I think
Yeah.
the telling thing in the post match analysis that I was watching was that it was the three other Chelsea players. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
they were inherently playing a risky game by putting all of their players that high up the pitch.
And only one Georgino.
Only one Jorginho, but those three that actually were kind of behind the play,
Mhm.
outside the box, they were just like jogging. They were like, "Oh yeah, 2v1. Yeah, Jorginho's gonna work on this." Like, come on, you have two
Yeah.
of the best. I mean, you have Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford like bombing onto him, and it's 0-0. Like, what are you doing? Like, sprint back. Like, and obviously, like, you see the challenge. It's hilarious. Like, he wins the ball back, and then they're like, "Oh shit!" Like,
Yeah.
like they're jogging, and then it's like, "Oh shit!" Like, and like, "Oh, where are you going, bro?" And you
And you
can,
know, I think like even though like it was a draw right between Chelsea United, I don't think United played really any better than all the other games, right?
mm,
And that's weird because like I used to say, okay, that I thought that without Ronaldo, their team looked more solid,
mm.
right? And in this game, they had no Harry Maguire, no Ronaldo, and they were still total shit. You know what I mean? So like, so maybe like everyone's saying that you're buying Ronaldo's the wrong move. I'm not sure anymore. Like I used to say it was the wrong move because I didn't see how that was gonna really do anything for them, and I don't think now it's a problem anymore. I mean, like you saw with fucking Fred. I mean, he was his usual garbage self. Um, McTominay, McTominay used to be a fan favorite. Now even my United supporter friend, he's like, dude, he's shit. He can't pass the ball forward ever. He
Mm.
can't do anything attacking. And yeah, I mean, like, I think really the problem is them, Fred and McTominay, are just trash.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole myriad of problems there. I mean, on the Ronaldo bit, I think, you know, commenting on just the debate that
Yeah,
Jamie and Roy were having, I think it is a logical thing to bring him in, frankly.
yeah,
I don't think it. I agree with Jamie that he's allowed to be dropped and he should be more of a luxury player, and you can take the hit, get the shirt sales, bring him home, and still have this environment where you play
yeah,
Greenwood and Sancho and you just have them learn off of him and you bring him
yeah,
in like Roy Keane was saying in the Champions League games to
yeah,
to to, to score. I mean, didn't he just break some record as like where he scored. He was like the first to score like from an English club of 5 in his first 5 consecutive Champions League games or something like that. I mean,
Yeah,
this guy's a
something.
serial winner, serial scorer. So it's like let you bring him in, but maybe yes, like play him in a more sparing way. But yeah, in any
Yeah.
case, yeah.
However, like I think that so like I'm not convinced that hiring him was the right move, and I
Mm.
actually think that had they not hired him, I think Ole would still have a job right now.
Ronaldo?
Yeah, I'm saying had they not gotten Ronaldo, I think
Really?
Ole would have a job right now, and not only because I mean like I don't think Ronaldo's a problem when he plays. I think everyone's like you get. I think it was happening in that argument as well that those two were having, right? Like you get Ronaldo, someone like Ronaldo to win something right now, right? And
Yeah.
and the very fact you got him and you're still not doing it is more damning than if you don't have him and you're still average or mediocre.
Yeah, I think you're right. And now that I'm hearing that, what I'm hearing is that it raises the bar almost. It almost
Yeah,
forces Ole
yeah,
to have more pressure than he
yeah,
needs or on this
yeah,
side because Ronaldo has to win a trophy. And that's
yeah,
ultimately you're right. Like that's why he lost his job because at the end of the day they chose Ronaldo over. And I
yeah,
think, to be honest, I think that is the right move. Maybe I was short sighted in like what Ole had to offer United, but
yeah,
I'm excited by I'm petrified as a Liverpool fan, but I think what they have stumbled upon with this new interim who might turn into an advisor is much
hmm,
better than having Ole there, maybe struggling to get something. And you never know. He might have been in a position where you're right. If he didn't sign Ronaldo, he would have been playing the Greenwoods, he would have been playing the Sanchos, and he would have had this young side, bringing him, with Bruno,
yeah.
coming in the clutch for him at the end, just like the last season, he could have been in and around the top 4 again. You never know. Um, but yeah, very, very interesting. Maybe they would have played more as a team. Maybe they would have had less of a focal point as well. You're just trying to shoehorn. That's always another thing where when you try to shoehorn a superstar.
I'm just like upset that Ole's gone now. At least he should have held on until the Arsenal game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, yeah, I guess last points on this game. I guess really Chelsea, they kicked it into high gear. They probably should have won the match.
Yeah,
I mean, Werner, let's just give him one mention. What a shambolic disaster of a player this guy is. I mean,
but he just can't do it. He can't score anything. Can't
he
finish.
literally can't find a finish to save his life. And I mean, look, Chelsea at the
I'm
end of the
surprised he
day.
has any kids at all.
Yeah, I mean Chelsea at the end of the day, they Lukaku did make it onto the pitch, so they do have goal scorers, but this guy clearly had a chance, and I would say that Rudiger also in the 97th minute. I mean, when you see a center back like that, obviously when you saw, I mean, I don't know if you saw his amazing shot off the bar, the earlier in the match, like
Yeah,
that guy's got some techers on him for a center back, but
that was pretty wild. Yeah,
pretty wild. But so I guess you could make the argument that he maybe could have taken a touch and finished that, but he's tired and he's just trying to put anything on it. But this guy really missed a chance that he would have
yeah.
given Chelsea another 3 points, and that's where we can.
Same problem with Fred too. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, of course. And that's not, all I was saying is that it's just two points dropped for Chelsea, which is kind of
Yeah,
good,
it
good for
really is.
everybody
It
in
really
the
is. Yeah.
in the title race. That's kind of going there. But yeah, maybe we'll kind of end this last bit where I want to get your thoughts, sir, just on the new transition of United. So Carrick is gone now. It's now gonna be this German guy named Ragnick, former
Hmm.
Leipzig manager. I think Hoffenheim as well.
Yeah.
A lot of very good players I was hearing on the kickoff commentary today, like that kind of came through under him in those clubs,
Yeah.
at those times. So like a lot of players that we see now, like Sadio Mane, Roberto
Yeah.
Firmino, all these kinds of players. But yeah, what do you think about this whole transition? Obviously, Ole is sacked. You said you feel bad that he's not here, but what do you think about this new direction and this new 6 month interim into the thing? And maybe who do you think in the summer are they gonna go for once Ragnick takes this advisory role supposedly?
So at first, I didn't actually know who Ragnick was. Everyone was
Mm.
hyping him up hardcore. I was like, shit, like he's working at whatever Moscow Locomotive Moscow or some shit like that. and I was like, who's this guy? But after sort of learning about what he has done outside of coaching, like actually like developing a club, I think it is the exact right move for United because I think him more than like any sort of other coach, like actual coach could have done, he'll be able to come in having understanding how to properly run a club and say, okay, this is wrong, has to change. This is wrong, has to change. This is wrong, has to change, and this is how it has to change. And I think just helping United identify the places where it's gone wrong. Outside of just coaching, right, with the players, whatever it is, the players, the scouting, the mentality, right, the attitude on the training ground, how hard they work. I think he'll come in, he'll point out the problems, and then they'll work on them. They'll have them fully identified so that when they hire a new manager, they'll know exactly. The manager will know coming in exactly what the job is, what the task is to do, what
Exactly.
has to be changed, and then they can hit the ground running.
Exactly. I mean, that's what they're missing is like a
Yeah,
football mind up there to
exactly,
to
exactly.
actually instead of these glazers who have no idea, they just want to get the money from the Champions League every year from qualifying from the top four. And it's just like you and Ed Woodward, or, even who is this like this business manager, whomever.
Yeah,
And like, look, they're financially one of the best run clubs in the world for sure. But you need a football mind up there to. I mean, and at the end of the day, this was Sir Alex Ferguson.
yeah,
That when he was there, it was just he was that mind. He was the
yeah,
everything. He was, the manager, the cult personality, and the kind of the footballing brain behind the whole ethos of everything.
yeah.
But
And this
yeah,
same issue happened at Arsenal, right? Like with
exactly with Wenger, you took it out of my head.
when Arsene left, right? Like there was like the problem wasn't scouting, wasn't
Mm-hmm.
recruitment, was everywhere like above where the coach sort of works. And then, there was this one year where a lot of them left or were fired, and we got all new people. We got Edu in, we
Mm.
got my man Dick Carlick in, right? So like I think after that change happened, like it really turned Arsenal around.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's what I fear now with this whole Ragnick, as you're saying. Like, it will set up the perfect situation where, again, like the right appointment is going to be made in the summer, or at least a well thought out appointment where he's going to have a style of play. It's going to be consistent with what Ragnick, thinks is a good ethos to move forward and and like Jamie Carragher was saying to compete with this new style. That's like, you have to be on the ball. You have to have
Yeah,
possession in the Premier League. You have to be able to contend with the physicality, and you have to bring in the fullbacks and just have a relentless press, as much as you can. I mean, not every team has the same kind of press, but you have that same kind of structure, and it's going to be quite
yeah.
frightening.
I hope not. I hope not, but
I agree. Uh,
at
well,
least at least it's an effort. At least they're trying.
yeah, for sure. Well, I guess let's take the theme of Liverpool and Arsenal and shift to uh, our match between our two former midfield legends for our clubs, Stevie G and Patrick
Yeah,
Vieira. In the match, Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. What do you think here, Stevie
I
G?
was personally surprised at the result.
Really?
I didn't think Crystal Palace would lose like by that much. Like I maybe it is Stevie G and his sort of like that new manager bounce, but like in the like Crystal Palace have been so good this whole season and Aston Villa not. I was just surprised to see it happen. I was surprised they won to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
And by
look.
and by a huge margin.
Well, no, it was 2-1. Not the biggest margin in the world, but
It's two
yes.
one. I thought it was 3-1. Okay,
No,
two
no,
one. Yeah.
2-1. But you're right in the sense that like the one was really in the 94th minute. It
Yeah,
was
exactly.
consolation, so
Hmm.
it was a firm, almost comfortable Villa win. I
Yeah.
mean, look, when you look at the run of play of the game and you're watching, it's the Tarjay finish when it comes really sets the stage for Villa being able to kind of sit on this lead
Yeah.
and hang on till the end. And but you see that there's a pattern of play there, and there's the team is stringing together good passages of play, and Stevie has them in a good position. I mean, I got don't have a flattering image here of McGinn, But McGinn's finish was a great team goal. I mean, first of all,
Yeah,
what a fantastic finish
it
in
was.
the end. Just the first time after, again, it's laid to him on a plate right at the edge of the 18-yard box. He just beautifully curls it into the corner. But yeah, I mean, you can see that there is a style. I mean, obviously, we saw Stevie at Rangers, getting the most out of his team and really, having a very specific shape and a very specific, style of, and obviously, a tenant of that aggression. But I'm not surprised at all that he's got him taking. Obviously, he's gonna have a dip, and I still think there's an
Hmm.
element of the new manager bounce, and also, Crystal Palace, they can't seem to keep a clean sheet. They're really draw merchants.
They
Actually,
really
I
can't. Yeah,
I have the table here. Let's just see. They've been draw merchants, and actually no, they got a couple wins here and there, but they're not quite consistent. Palace.
yeah, not good enough yet.
But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, what do you think about Vieira? Do you think what is he missing there to get that consistency? I mean, is it something with style? I mean, I mean, obviously, I can't get ahead of myself with Stevie, but
Yeah,
what do we think
it's
about
hard to
Palace?
say. I mean, like it just. I'm honestly not sure what it is. I think even in this game against Aston Villa, I saw a lot of times where they had opportunities and they just couldn't convert. Right, like Connor Gallagher had made some good runs, some good crosses, but they just couldn't convert them. I think really this clean sheet problem, I'm really at a loss of how to solve it because they have good players, they have solid defensive players,
Mm,
but yeah, I'm not sure exactly what it is. I think maybe it comes down to their play style. They leave themselves too exposed, but even that is really not like an issue. Like they have a very tight shape even in tag.
mm,
So yeah, like I don't know, maybe it is just a case of one transfer window. He gets
exactly.
someone new in, and then they stop conceding goals.
Yeah, I'm excited to see almost in a kind of a parallel sense in the lower level of a table, something almost like we saw with Liverpool at the top of the table, right?
Yeah,
Like where they'll finish a little bit below what they're expected to finish. Maybe you wanted to maybe finish
yeah,
top half and challenge for those European spots. But if you let them finish a little bit below that expectation this season, maybe just below in the
hmm,
top of the second half of the table, and you give Vieira that time to have the full season, get another preseason, two transfer windows solid to get a few of the deadwood bodies out and get a few new talents in, like a few mainstays into his spine. I'm excited to
yeah,
see what he can build for sure, and I'm similarly excited for Stevie to do it with Villa. I guess they already had some of that build in a sense because they had the Grealish money and the couple of players that kind of came in that I guess he had to work with. But I'm excited to see how that
yeah,
will develop over time for sure. This is kind of it's still almost like a free hit for both of the managers, really, and it was kind of
yeah. Like
you know,
I think Patrick is sort of the right guy. Like he has done a great job, I
mm,
think, so far in the season,
mm,
and I think he needs time like everybody else.
yeah, absolutely,
But I don't think he's like out of his depth. I think
absolutely,
he's yeah.
I agree, and it's very interesting to kind of see how each level of manager has a different
Hmm.
level that they have to keep to be in or out of their depth, which is very as we saw so many managers. I think it was like six managers get sacked, each with different
Yeah.
expectations. It's been very interesting to see that, I guess, in the Prem.
I wonder if like anyone out there will hire Ole now
That's
because like I think after sort of because you're a
a good
boss, the
question.
boss of United, right? And like your failures and attacks against your capabilities as a coach is sort of
Mm.
on TV all the time, is always on people's minds. I think that will be people will hesitate to hire him again. I mean,
I think he'll
like,
never. Rory Jennings said it best. He won't get a job in the Prem. That's for sure. Maybe he'll
mhm.
get a job at a different country. I mean, look, he still managed Manchester United at a top level despite not having a CV. So
That's
I
true. I
think,
mean,
yeah,
yeah, they still got second place last season, so it's
exactly,
something, right?
exactly. And look, and he did have a lot of good players, but you can see him go to like like a top club in somewhere like Turkey or in like Austria or somewhere,
Yeah.
or even
Turkey and
Norway.
Austria, right? That's not really, yeah.
Yeah, just like random, like
A random club, a
smaller
random.
smaller leagues, right? Where he doesn't have to
Yeah.
like work too much for it.
They should have hired him at Newcastle in place of Eddie Howe. They
Maybe. I
should have
don't think so.
told United, hey, w- seems like Ole's on the way out. Sack him now, and we'll take him.
Oh man.
That's exactly how it would have been. Dude,
Well,
if I was, I don't know, like him over Eddie Howe, I'd choose him probably.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's good that Ole's gone, and he wouldn't have got a job in the Prem if it wasn't for nostalgia from a club like United.
It's all about vibes, dude.
It's all about the vibes. Well, Ole is no longer at the wheel, and just to transition to a couple of other fixtures, I think I like the theme of snow. I don't know if you saw Surya, but there was a massive snowstorm, and I actually have a little. You'll like this here.
Oh, damn.
I have a little graphic. Yeah, I mean, because it was so interesting. Like during the match, I mean, in the first half, especially of the City match, it was clear,
Yeah.
like super clear, and slowly you see the snow building and building, and all of a sudden you just see like, I mean, there are some pictures here. Let me see if I can pull them up here. Let's see if I have this right. Yeah. Oh my God, look at this. I mean, look at the snow here, bro. Like torrential downpour. Like an absolutely insane snowstorm. So I was like, what the hell is going on? And I guess I like went and saw the radar, and like as you can
Hmm.
see, like there was just a crazy storm, and like it was really overall the, Burnley. You can see this, I
Yeah, they
guess
canceled the game.
exactly. So it's kind of an interesting little way to finish out our episode here, just to kind of talk
I
about
saw
all
an
the
Insta
fixtures.
post of this guy and her husband. She was like, "Oh, we're flying from Dallas to London to Burnley. We haven't slept in like 30 hours, all to watch Spurs, and then the game gets postponed."
Oh my God, yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, you can see here,
Harry
like,
Kane answered them. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear this. Let me hook you guys up." So it all ended up good,
wow,
but still, it was hilarious.
that's incredible.
Man ruined by snow.
Literally, if you saw, like, there was a funny gif of uh, Sean Dyche like smiling
Yeah.
as they were, because I guess they came out to the pitch and like the refs were describing it that they went and they cleaned up all the whole snow and they did the ball roll where they like test the ball to see if it can
Yeah.
roll, and then within 10 minutes after they cleaned it was completely filled up again. Like that was when Sean Dyche like went and he like was smiling.
He came out. He laughed. He's like, "Yeah,
Yeah, so that was postponed. I
yeah,
guess we talked a little bit about that. But these are the three cities here where three matches were kind of plagued by snow. One completely canceled, the Burnley Spurs match. So we don't really get to see Conte in his second. I don't want to skip too far ahead, but Conte had a hilarious comments about his team. So we'll talk about that in a bit. Uh, hilarious comments. We'll talk about that. We
Well,
should
he's
talk.
honest. I like it. He's
Yeah,
brutal.
we should definitely talk about that.
No
But
mercy on his players."
on the two matches, let's start in Manchester, where City just quickly got a. I mean, your boys West Ham. I think Declan Rice, from what I saw in the match, had some great energy and some
I'm
great.
glad they lost. Yeah,
Yeah, some. Well, of course, for your position, of course, in the league for sure. But yeah, City getting the two good goals. I mean, obviously the one of them came in the snow. It was really just tough to see. But four players in the box. One of them is on the end of it, and I guess West Ham not quite enough to keep out one of the best attacks in the league. And then I guess the second goal. Who was the second goal? I'm already forgetting where the second goal. Oh, that's right. So it stayed 1-0 pretty much for the whole match, and Fernandinho came in at the end
mm.
and kind of got the finish. But he actually by then the pitch was clean and clear. And yeah, I guess it was he hasn't been on the pitch in a while, so it was nice to see him get a finish. And then Lanzini also. Did you see that? The beautiful consolation goal. Just like
Yeah.
he's disappeared. I haven't seen him in years. But a fantastic finish from
For a
outside the
long time.
box,
Yeah, he
off the
didn't really have
post.
the radar. Didn't really help the radar.
But yeah, that what does that actually do to the league table, real quick, as we're talking about City? It looks like it's actually very tight up there, so you can see if we go to the top here. So now Chelsea having dropped points.
Yeah.
They are only 1 point ahead of City and now 2 points ahead of Liverpool. Fantastic little three-way race for the title for sure. I mean, obviously you can see the on form. You'd probably say City are gonna probably
Yeah.
string together most likely to string together the best uh, in the month, and especially after a performance like that, especially against a tough West Ham side, in those kinds of conditions. I have to give them a little bit of credit for pulling out the 3 points there. You can easily have dropped points in that kind of situation. Um, but yeah, it's very very interesting. I guess on last thing on the kind of the snow matches here, we just kind of had Leicester. I figure we can just talk a little bit about how Leicester have just capitulated and flattened. Who exactly did they play? Let's see. I
I don't know
can.
what the hell's going on over there.
Yeah. So, oh, actually, well, they actually won this match 4-2 against Watford, and obviously Watford have been kind of disastrous. But let's talk a little bit about Leicester. I mean, Jamie Vardy, a couple of good finishes. That obviously the game was kind of plagued by snow, as we saw earlier with this kind
Hmm.
of fantastic little image here. But Brendan Rodgers getting the bounce back. I mean, I guess I mentioned the capitulation because they were really flat against Chelsea, and
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be a top four club. I thought they were going to really give a
Same.
chance to push forward, but like they really didn't have a prayer. And
Hmm.
obviously against Watford, I don't know if you saw the first goal that they conceded, but King Ikong, the YouTuber, if you've seen his new channel, completely like misjudges the ball over the top and doesn't even head the ball and just lets
Yeah.
lets Madison in. And then two great goals. I guess they had a penalty to equalize from Josh King, but two goals to fantastic. I mean, the what a player Jamie Vardy is. I mean, we know his whole story, and he had this dream season, breaking the
Yeah.
consecutive scoring record. But this is such an amazing striker. I mean, the first finish is similar to Martinelli's almost, with like a chip in behind from Madison, and like a kind of a first time volley finish from the side of the net. Just a fantastic game here, and I guess obviously it was funny also to see Watford getting back in the game because of the snow. Just a mistake that was really
Yeah.
forced by just like it was just frantic. I don't know if you saw the match itself, but it was so frantic because the conditions were so bad. Um, but
One thing
yeah,
I will say, like, I think with Leicester, like, I don't recall whether in the summer they had any signings that I thought were sort of
yeah,
worth even mentioning. I think it's
yeah,
just like see their squad, and it's the same squad that's been there for the past couple of years, and I think
you're right.
it- it's it's
If anything, they've lost players.
yeah, like exactly, like and their main guy James Madison is not really up to it, and so without him, yeah, like you said, they'll completely flat. And I'm all for like if the team works and the players playing well, but you have to keep on adding more stars. But I think every year, at least in this league, right, like the quality shuffles around so much that you have to.
Yeah,
And I think in this transfer window, I don't recall
yeah,
Leicester bringing in anyone new who I was like, wow, that's an awesome signing, or like he's an exciting player.
right. Or this
It's
this
all
improves the
the same
squad, the
people who
starting
are
11.
older and
Yeah,
older. Yeah, exactly,
you're
older
100% right.
and maybe off their top now, off their peak now.
Yeah, and especially when you have a manager that kind of, I wouldn't say bottles it all the time, but like is not it doesn't get you that consistent result. You'll need that refreshing player and that match winner to kind of get you into that position where you could. I mean, I thought they were going to challenge for those European spots, but they're going to have a
I
tough
thought so
time
too.
with
Yeah,
West Ham. They're going to have a tough time. There's going to be, I mean, they're going to get good results like this, but they're going to have a tough time in the end.
yeah,
Okay, well, I guess a couple of nil-nil draws that I think we'll save ourselves time to talk
yeah.
about.
No, who cares?
There was an interesting, just a one note on Rafa. Is a 1-0 on a penalty. I just I'm curious to see when he gets sacked. Will be an interesting thing. Only because the Merseyside derby is coming, and so we'll talk about that prediction later. But that'll be an
Do you think
interesting
he's
thing.
already on the chopping block? Like he's already there?
I just think that Mashiri and the money that was spent there, and just the fact that they cannot seem to find a goal. I mean, I don't think right now, but I would
Hmm.
be curious to see how long he lasts because I don't know how much it seems like there's a plan there and that there's a vision that it makes sense. And they would be better off like going and getting some young
Yeah.
coach. You know what I'm saying? Like
When
and
did they hire him? How long ago did it
I
happen?
think it was last season or beginning of this season.
Oh, I thought it was. Oh, you're right. Like I thought. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. He's had at least like yeah.
Something like that. But in any case, it was interesting to see that they can't get a goal, and the kick in the face to get the penalty I thought was very just a little jarring, little moment. But Ivan Toney getting on the score sheet. And I
Yeah.
guess, to end our topic here before we go into our next week's predictions, let's just talk a bit about Spurs. I wanted to get your reaction on those hilarious comments from Antonio Conte, just like throwing his whole team under the bus. Just like, what did you think of that press conference? Did you see the press conference?
I mean, I think the level at Spurs at the moment is not. It's not so high. It's not so. It's not so high right now. And so I think his comments were completely warranted. I mean, it's clear to anybody who's watching that the standards aren't high enough, and the players kind of blow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I guess like Robbie on a Best of Enemies. Shout out Robbie from AFTV. Had a good point. I just that really made me want to talk about it for a little bit. It's just like you felt in that the energy of like him almost saying like, if I knew how bad it was, maybe I wouldn't have signed up for this job. you know,
He's
he's like, after 3 weeks, I can see now this is the level. Like it was so sad to see, and like also I think when I was thinking about it afterwards, it was kind of also I think a public call, to Daniel Levy almost saying like, look,
he's like, bro, you're running this dog shit club. What are you doing, bro? Get your shit together. It's not good enough.
oh man, well yeah, I mean, get me some players, give me a transfer window. I'm not a magician. Is like, don't expect me to come in. Because Daniel Levy's probably like, oh, you came into Chelsea, and within a season and a half, you won the league. So let's
And
go,
of
bro.
course, Daniel Levy, the transfer genius who knows everything.
Yeah, bro. Gentleman's agreement with Harry Kane. Fantastic. Oh, my God. Hilarious. But in any case, we won't be able to see their game. I think will be postponed for a while. This is kind of going to be such a congested month. It's going to be kind of insane. But yeah, I mean, let's maybe jump, Surya, to end us off, to look at the fixture list here and get our predictions. Obviously, you're coming out here, so maybe we'll watch the big match of this week together. I believe that
Yeah,
is United versus Arsenal. I don't know where exactly that will be, but
I'm really worried about that game now. Like when Ole was at the wheel, I wasn't worried, but now I'm a little worried.
yeah, now, well, look, so
Properly
now
worried.
Ragnick will be there, I think. Well, I don't know, actually, maybe he won't have
Wreck
the
It
work
Ralph, bro.
visa.
He's gonna ruin the.
I'm not sure if he has the work visa or not. But okay, let's just for the sake of it, and actually, again, this is just a. I do want to note. I do think this is kind of excessive. This congestion, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, that's how the league has been. Like it
Yeah,
blows. It really does suck because
it does
all the
blow.
injuries happen at this around this time.
For sure. I mean, we're pushing the squads too
Yeah.
much, and maybe it is a case of, I think, like at this point, just to give a note on it, is to finally sign on to the 5 subs, which I think is going to happen next
Yeah.
season, and then just let them register a few more people
Hmm.
into the
Yeah.
the
In the
Premier League
squad. Yeah.
squad, so that they can just then you do have the kids almost like playing more and more in the
I
league
agree.
during
Yeah.
this time. Why not? But
Yeah.
yeah, what do we think? Maybe Tuesday actually. Oh my God, literally 2 days away. What do we think? Newcastle Norwich, the clash at the bottom of the table, relegation
Newcastle's
six
gonna win.
pointer. You think so at St
No,
James's
no, no. I
Park,
don't actually.
first
No,
win of the season?
No, no. I'm wrong. It's not going to be Newcastle. I think it'll be Norwich win like 1-0 or 2-1. That's it.
Wow, that's a bold statement. I mean, I think Eddie
What do you mean
Howe.
0-0?
Well, look, I think Eddie Howe's will have another uh, game week to play. He'll have another. I mean, I guess he has no time to train really. My heart wants to say that they'll win. I mean, the last time I think they were at St James's Park, they scored 3 goals. I mean, they weren't able
Yeah.
to keep themselves organized, but you would hope that they're a little bit more organized. Obviously, they looked pretty well organized in the first half against Arsenal. They weren't that bad, to be honest.
I don't know, dude. Like after that Arsenal game, there are times where the back line was complete, like complete shit. It was like they're all on the
Yeah.
line, and then they're left back is so if this is their goal, right? They're on the line. Their left back is like here, keeping everyone on side, and everyone on the line is just holding their hands up for offside. It was shambles, bro. It was real bad.
Yeah, shambles. Well, in any case, they're at home, so I figure for Eddie Howe's
Yeah.
first match at home, maybe they can get a
Yeah.
1-0 or 2-1 victory, but I think it'll end a draw. I think it'll be a 1-all draw.
Hmm.
Okay, so what are you going for? You're going for a Norwich 2-1?
I'm gonna go for. I think it's more likely that it'll be Norwich win 1-0.
Norwich 1-0. All right,
Yeah.
Leeds Crystal Palace. What do we think there? Vieira against Marco Bielsa.
I think Leeds have dropped the ball a little, so I'm gonna say this is gonna end up a draw.
A draw. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Palace are draw merchants, and I think away from home,
Yeah.
I would probably expect that. I don't know if Zaha's in the side. Yeah, I would say probably a draw as well, 1-all draw. Yeah, I'm down for the draws in this part of the
I
season
like that
too.
term, dude. They're draw merchants.
Yeah, the draw merchants, bro. That's for sure. Oh yeah. So Southampton versus Leicester. We talked about. I guess Southampton got
Patrick
slapped around.
Picasso.
Yeah,
That's what I should call him.
I think Leicester will win this.
Picasso.
Maybe 2-1 away from home.
Leicester,
Keep the
Southampton,
momentum.
really?
Yeah, I haven't seen
Southampton
Southampton
are usually a hard team to play, I think, in general, right?
for sure. I mean, look at the.
They're tough.
I'm putting some
Faith.
weight behind.
Mm.
Obviously, like there's not much time to prepare. I would expect the
Yeah.
quality in this kind of scenario, the quality of a team like Leicester to shine over Southampton, even if it's
Yeah.
away. And also, there's a momentum element here where I think that Leicester are trying to string a run of results, and maybe Brendan will get in it. This is the kind of team that has. They don't have too much about them. I mean, they're hard to beat, but they don't have many goals in them. So, if Leicester can get in there and get Vardy to score one or two, I think
Yeah.
Southampton will struggle to score more than one. So if they,
Mhm.
I think let me just go. Let me give Leicester some credit. Then
Yeah.
we'll do it too.
Fair.
We'll try 2-1.
Sure.
I'll start keeping track of these next week, so we'll get a little scoreboard by the end of the season. Uh, okay. What do you think there, Leicester, Southampton? Any thoughts?
I'll agree with you 2-1. Yeah.
All right. Chelsea versus Watford at Vicarage Road. I think
I mean,
Chelsea are back
easy.
to winning ways. It'll be
Easy
a 2
match.
2-0 win for Chelsea. I mean, Ben
Yeah.
Foster, maybe if he's back in the side, maybe he'll help out. But Ikong, wow, what a shambolic.
So actually, Lukaku came on today as a sub. So if he's gonna start
Mm,
that game, I think it could be easily 4 goals
four
that
goals, huh?
Chelsea score. Yeah.
Interesting. Could be. Okay, so four. You're saying 4-0 to Chelsea.
I'm saying 4-0 Chelsea.
All right, I'll go 2-0 to you to a 4-0. West Ham versus Brighton at the London Stadium. This is gonna be a West Ham win for me. 3-1. Declan Rice. is gonna
3-1.
Yeah,
You're that
bro.
confident of West Ham over Brighton?
West Ham, bro. I'm confident in West Ham at
Bright-
the London Stadium. I mean, they slapped us around, bro. They're good on a set piece. And Brighton were good against us, and they put up a good fight.
Yeah.
But I think the atmosphere at the London Stadium will do them good. I'm West Ham are gonna go back, and again, momentum. I think also they put in such, they played against City. They put in a good shift. They kept City to 1-0.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
true.
a City side, despite not
Yeah.
having a striker who's in prolific goal scoring form. Obviously the conditions were the conditions for a good chunk of that game. So,
Mhm.
but they held their own, and I think they'll take a lot of energy from that and say, I mean, they might be tired as well, but they'll take a
Yeah.
lot of energy to be able to say, okay, let's go back at home and give our fans a good performance. 3
Yeah.
fucking 1.
Yeah.
Let's go, David Moyes.
Yeah, that's fair. Then yeah, okay, maybe that. I'm still saying maybe they'll win.
Fantastic. Okay,
I'm
well,
still-
okay, maybe. Well, okay. Wolves and Burnley, probably a drab result. I'll go 0-0 draw. I don't think any of these teams will find a goal. Maybe 1-0 to
Wolves are-
Burnley.
Yeah, Wolves are playing exceptionally shit this season. I think it'll be a
Exceptionally.
draw.
They're just such a forgettable club.
They just can't do anything right. Everything. Yeah, exactly. And they have they actually have good players. They're just
Mm.
yeah.
Villa versus City. So, Wow, I didn't even realize that. So Stevie G is gonna try to do us a favor against Man City. Unfortunately, I think this is when he'll get his first defeat.
Yep, he's gonna slip up.
It's gonna be. I mean, maybe they'll get a goal. I can see someone like McGinn getting on the score sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe what's his name up top? Ollie Watkins. But I think it's gonna be 3 or 4-1 City. I think they're gonna be back to winning ways.
I think so
Without
too.
without a storm, they're gonna score bags of goals.
Yeah, I agree.
Unfortunately, Stevie. I mean, maybe give us a result. Maybe maybe my heart will give me that.
I'm gonna
Okay,
say it's gonna be a 3-1 probably to
3-1
Sevilla.
City. All right. All right, Merseyside Derby at Goodison Park. Rafa, as I said, maybe on the chopping block. I think it's going to be an easy Liverpool win. I think it'll be 2-0. Maybe it'll be a raucous atmosphere. I mean, we struggle against Everton sometimes. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends in a draw. I'm not going to lie to you.
Really?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, on current form, no. But there's fans in the ground. It's in Goodison. Form goes out the window, and there's no time to prepare. It's like a couple days. You never know, man. I look, my obviously I think it'll be a 2-0 win. My heart says 2-0 win, but sometimes you pucker up a bit when you're against Everton. It's a tough match.
I'm gonna
Form goes
say
out the window.
that I truly foresee Divock Origi scoring a goal. That's what's gonna happen. He's gonna score the winning goal.
Oh, that is a good money. I would bet as they
It's a
make betting
classic, bro. It's
legal.
a classic.
It's a classic, bro. I would think also Mane will get on the score sheet as well. He likes a good goal against Everton. Okay, let's get to the last two fixtures here, and you can already see that. God damn, like there are games, like we're gonna have games on Saturday too. It's gonna be insane.
Unreal.
So yeah, our last two fixtures here: Spurs versus Brentford. So we'll see London Stadium. I think Conte will get a victory there. I think it'll
Yeah,
be
I think so too.
a 2-1 victory.
Mhm.
Maybe Tony will get on the score sheet. I just don't feel like the Spurs backliner. They have a mistake in them. A penalty, a set piece. They
Yeah,
have something in them. What do you think there? Conte will get a result?
I think Conte. I think they'll win probably like 1-0.
Got you. Okay. And the last fixture here, Man United versus Arsenal, the big one. Thursday at Old Trafford. First match under the Ragnick era. What do you think? Does Arteta's boys come in and upset the apple cart at Old Trafford?
So I think, you know, I think after Ole was sacked, right? I think the players are sort of have upped their own game a little bit. So I'm gonna say that United are gonna score one goal, and are gonna score
One goal.
exactly one goal. Like it'll be a counterattack because it's just how they've been playing. It's gonna be a counterattack, and they're gonna score one goal on us. But I do think Arsenal can win this 2-1. I'm gonna say Arsenal win.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the record suggests that when a tough opponent comes to Old Trafford this season, United have a hard time.
Their home record is absolute dog shit.
It's absolute, yeah, exactly. And obviously Ole is no longer at the wheel, nor is the interim at the wheel. But I have to say, I think uh, Arsenal have an identity, they have a style, and they have a few, quality young match winners in them.
We
Uh,
it's we have more than just a few, bro. More than just a few.
uh, when let's have Aubameyang come back on form, and we can talk
Bro,
about
who
that.
gives a shit about Aubameyang, bro? It's not about
That's
him, bro.
true. Emil Smith Rowe, we got
It's
Saka,
about Thomas
Martinelli.
Partey, bro. It's about Ben White. It's about Tavares. It's about Gabrielle. It's about Saka. It's about Smith Rowe. It's about Sambi Lakanga. It's about Tomiyasu. It's not about Aubameyang.
Okay, you
Forget
know
him.
what? I'm going a draw here. Oh, you know what?
Draw.
I'm going. You know what? Scintillating. It won't even
What do
be a
you
draw.
think this is, bro?
I was gonna go 2-all draw because Sancho back on form. Ronaldo's gonna be starting for
Sancho
sure.
back on form, man. He scores one goal. Fuck that.
Look, what do you mean? He scored. He scored in midweek, I think, as well against.
Yeah, he's not back on. He's not back on anything, bro.
Where I'll give Arsenal. I'll give them this win 3-2.
3-2.
Scintillating,
I'll take
scintillating,
it.
scintillating goals.
I don't know, man. Like Arsenal's defense is not that leaky anymore to just concede two
Bro,
goals.
Ragnick bounce, Ronaldo back in the side. Pressure in Old Trafford with the fans like ready for the Ragnick era. Let's let's
Bro,
let's dream a
it's
little.
old man against young boys. Let's be real. And
Oh, God.
young boys have the vitality, the energy.
Well, didn't Young Boys beat United earlier this season?
Bro, young boys
Oh
always
my
win.
God. All
Bro,
right,
I hate
Surya.
that name, dude. I hate that name, young boys.
Yeah,
BSC.
it's not a great name. In any
I
case,
keep having to search on Google. I'm like, who's on this team? I search young boys, and then I'm like, oh no, I gotta search something else.
oh
I search young
Surya.
boys. I search young boys club.
All right,
And that's not,
all right. I'm cutting you off. And
bro,
with
it's
that,
so
friends,
stupid.
we'll end it there. Peace and love. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, peace out.